I never did sports in my life. I didn't know what I was getting myself into it. And the only sports I was doing up to that point was walking from the galley to the cabin to serve you. Would you like tea? Would you like coffee? Hardly an athlete. But I thought an athlete is not an athlete when he was born. I will transform myself into an athlete. 4 months later, I became the first Portuguese woman to get to the North Pole. Portugal thought I'm not a climber. I was going to be an embarrassment for my country. I transformed myself into a mountaineer. 1 year later, I stood at the top of Everest and I became the first and the third Portuguese citizen climbing Everest. People, they often ask me, Maria, what was the hardest thing you ever did in your life? Was it the North Pole? Was the freaking cold the English Channel? Was it the South Pole? Was the Ironmans? What was it? The hardest thing I ever done in my life was to honor a promise I've made in 2005 to 101 single moms living in the slums of Bangladesh. I went to Bangladesh in 2005 and I promised them to change their life. But ladies and gentlemen, it's these children and these people in the slums of Dhaka that they completely have transformed myself into who I am today.
We talk a lot about this idea of living your most extraordinary life, but what does it actually look like in person? I want to share with you a really interesting story, and it has to do with someone I actually met here in Dubai. Okay, so imagine this. I was speaking about operating at level 4, where you have goals for yourself, fantastic, but now you decide to stretch a little. You feel a calling that takes you from level 2 to level 3, and then eventually to level 4. The story I want to share has to do with this woman, Maria Conceição. She is of Portuguese origin, and she achieved a goal of coming from poverty and eventually becoming a stewardess at Emirates Airlines. And she thought that was it. That was her life. She attained it. She got to travel the world. She got to be an Emirates stewardess, and her life was going to be good. Until her flight took her to Dhaka, Bangladesh. And there she was roaming the slums of Dhaka, and she certainly saw some of the most intense poverty you could imagine. Dhaka has 50,000 slums. And in these slums, many of these children do not get to go to school. They are child laborers, or they live lives in abject poverty. This image she couldn't shake from her head, so she decided she needed to do something about it. Now, she had no experience. She was an Emirates stewardess. How was she going to help these kids? So she goes back and she starts to Google, how can I help put kids through school? And this led her on Google searches on how to get funding, how to get sponsorship. And somewhere she saw a search that said, do something really crazy, like climb Everest or ski the North Pole and raise sponsorship money. And so this lady, who's around 5'5", who had never ever even been to a gym before, decided she was going to be an elite athlete. Maria somehow went on to become the first Portuguese woman to ski both the North and the South Pole. She went on to then climb Everest. All of this to raise money to help put these kids through school. Everest, she said, was a failure. And so she didn't raise any money. She felt she had to shut down her entire operation. Then she thought, wait a minute, no, I'm not going to give up. So she became an ultra marathoner. She ran 7 marathons in 7 days, then 7 ultra marathons in 7 days. She went on to do all of these impossible feats, and today she holds 9 Guinness World Records. And she's running educational programs that put 600 kids through school. GQ labeled her Woman of the Year. Maria, come on stage. So like, Maria, how old are you?
I'm 45 years
Okay.
old, but soon 46 years old. In 2018, I was attempting to become the first Portuguese woman to climb the 7 summits. Unfortunately, on my way down, I had an accident. I fell off the mountain, and I lost my cartilage. In 2018, my doctors, all the doctors I've been to, they told me I could never be an athlete again. And it took me 4 years, but I managed to, in 4 years, I managed to do my comeback, and I broke my 9 Guinness World Record. And soon, And I have 2 more Guinness World Records planned for this year.
Wow. By the way, I'm just getting to know Maria. She's already probably one of my favorite people in Dubai. Now, the reason I bring Maria up here is because Maria is symbolic of what the human mind can achieve. Everything you've learned today, her story illustrates these ideas. Level 2, thinking that you've made it as an Emirates stewardess, and then feeling that idea that there was something more. What was that spark for you? What was that insight that made you first decide that you were going to go to the North Pole to raise money? How did you know it was real?
Can I start my story?
Yes, please go ahead.
So my story started when I was 2 years old. I'm the daughter of a single mother, and she was struggling and she was unemployed. This is when she met a poor refugee woman from Angola, mother of 6 children, totally illiterate. She was a cleaner and she was a widow. When she saw my mother struggling, she didn't hesitate to offer for help. Basically, she told my mom, why don't you go to Lisbon, 7 hours away from the little village, find a job, and I take care of Maria until then. My mother left to the city, she never came back. So I became the 7th child of Christina. Christina's motto was, who feeds 6, feeds 7. At the age of 9 years old, Christina had a heart attack, and she passed away. And my Christina daughters, they were on their early 20s, they took care of me. From age of 12, I had to stop going to school. And pretty much from that point, I was told the only thing I could expect to achieve in life was to be a cleaner. At the age of 18, I told myself, if the only thing I'm going to achieve in life is to be a cleaner, I will refuse to just be a cleaner. I'm going to be the Ronaldo or the Messi of the cleaning world. So I left Portugal and I went to Europe. I went to where the best cleaning jobs in the world they are, which is Switzerland. I learned how to speak French. Later, I went to England. I learned how to speak English. And then always looking for better opportunities, I went to the job center and I was offered the job to be an Emirates flight attendant. I came to there was 100 candidates on a job interview and only 2 of them, they got the job. And I was one of them. When I came to Dubai, I thought I really won the lottery. I was traveling all around the world, staying in 5-star hotels, and then shortly after, I got the job to be a VIP flight attendant for Sheikh Mohammed. So you can imagine the glamorous and luxury lifestyle I was having. And in 2005, I was scheduled a flight in Bangladesh, one of the poorest countries in the world. And I always thought I had grown in a very humble background, but I didn't know what was poverty until I was in the slums of Bangladesh. So what did I do? I met 101 families, and I promised 600 children I was going to take them out of poverty. I started with 39 kids, 98, 200, 600. I'm going to be honest, I had no idea how to help them. But if Christina, a poor refugee woman from Angola, she could take care of me, I could take care of these kids in Bangladesh. I came back to Dubai, and I asked people to help me, volunteers and experts to help me setting up a daycare center, a preschool, a primary school, a secondary school, a canteen, a computer center, a first aid center, a beauty salon, and we had everything. And all I was dreaming was one day my children, when they grow up, they're going to go to university and they're going to go Bidesh. Bidesh meaning they're going to leave the slums of Dhaka and they're going to go abroad. 2008, and I was dreaming, I was continuing to fly, and in 2008, recession came. And a school for 600 children, it has a lot of bills. And overnight, just like COVID came, I started to lose my sponsorship. So I Googled on internet, what is the quickest and most efficient way to make money? And internet said, if I went, actually, they said if I met Ellen or if I met Ronaldo or Angelina Jolie, I will make the money. If I went on a popular TV show like Ellen or Oprah, I will get the money I needed. So I sent letters, but then I kept researching on internet, and internet said if I went to the North Pole, I would raise £2 million. because there was a team from England going from England to the North Pole. They had raised £1 million and they were going to raise £2 million. Now, I never did sports in my life. I didn't know what I was getting myself into it. And the only sports I was doing up to that point was walking from the galley to the cabin to serve you. Would you like tea? Would you like coffee? Hardly an athlete. But I thought an athlete is not an athlete when he was born. I will transform myself into an athlete. To cut down short, 4 months later, I became the first Portuguese woman to get to the North Pole. There was no £2 million because I forget to read the fine print. And Prince Harry was the sponsor of that expedition. That's why they'd make money. I kept Googling. The internet told me if I climbed Everest, I could raise $2 million. So I transformed myself into a mountaineer. Portugal thought I'm not a climber. I was going to be an embarrassment for my country. But 1 year later, I stood at the top of Everest and I became the first and the third Portuguese citizen climbing Everest. Yeah. That was not enough. Actually, everyone was congratulating me for being the first Portuguese woman to get to the Everest, but there was no funds at all. We had to shut down, and I had to send 600 kids back to the slums. Someone told me if I wanted to reopen my organization, I had to think bigger and wilder. So someone told me, why don't you start breaking Guinness World Records? So I broke Guinness World Records running around 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. I transformed myself into a swimmer. I attempted to swim from England to France. I did 5. And I became the first Portuguese woman to get to the South Pole and get to Antarctica. 18 years later, the children, people, they often ask me, Maria, what was the hardest thing you ever did in your life? Was it the North Pole? Was it freaking cold, the English Channel? Was it the South Pole? Was the Ironmans? What was it? The hardest thing I ever done in my life was to honor a promise I've made in 2005 to 101 single moms living in the slums of Bangladesh. I went to Bangladesh in 2005 and I promised them to change their life. But ladies and gentlemen, it's these children and these people in the slums of Dhaka that they completely have transformed myself into who I am today, a 9 Guinness World Record. I am currently I'm transforming myself into a climber and I'm attempting to climb K2 in 4 months' time.
Thank you, Maria. Hold the mic. Now, give her a round of applause. Ini, bring up the children.
17 years later.
Now I want to show you. So you guys really feel this. What happens when you really step up?
I told you I was going to take them abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the first generation students. They have a primary education, secondary education, and they are working in companies in Dubai. Up. And this is how old I was when my mother left to Lisbon and never came back. Meet Mawa, our youngest child in the project.
So I want you, and you guys can sit. I want you to just reflect on the story that you just heard. A woman who was a victim of the culturescape, level 1, told that the best she could aspire to be was to be a cleaner. But she decided, no, I'm going to go to level 2. I can poke the world. I can change the world. I'm going to be the Ronaldo of cleaners. She ends up becoming an Emirates stewardess. But even though she achieved this wild success at level 2, she feels this nudging, this urge that something isn't right. She stumbles upon the slums of Dhaka. Every single one of the faces you see here, and these are just a few of the 600 children who she's helped change the lives of. She gets a calling. She follows that calling. And despite the body that she was born with, despite the fun she had, she somehow ends up becoming one of the most badass elite athletes here today. In the world, not just in this room. But this woman doesn't break these records for her own ego, and this is where I get emotional when I think about it. She's not doing this for the Guinness Records. I hope you guys get that. She's doing it for all of these kids. And I want to ask some of these wonderful young men and women whose lives were changed by Maria following her insight and believing in the power of her own mind to share their thoughts.
I'm just speechless. Hi, my name is Shahin Khan, and I'm a businessman. I'm an influencer. I'm here in Dubai just because of Maria Conceição. I'm here because of the Maria Conceição. She told me I can become from nobody to the next Nas Daily because of her. Let me tell you my story. We all say we're alive because of the oxygen, right? We are wrong. We are alive because of hope. The day hope goes, we are gone. By the time I saw her, I lost hope in my life. So in 2010, I saw her back in our country in Bangladesh, Dhaka. I saw foreigners, and I'm a brown boy, so I was very young. So I'm like, what she's doing here? So I asked people what they're doing. Then she's a wonderful woman. She's helping people. And I'm like, wow, I want to meet her. Then I learned English. I text her that I learned English because I want to meet you. And she's like, okay, fine, come, I'll help you. So from them, I meet her. She changed my mentality. Because the society I belong from, where everyone say, no, 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 no. And she's like, yes, 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 yes. And and she called us butterfly. And so at the butterfly, we cannot fly, right? But you can't fly. So the boy who never saw the airport, and she's like, you cannot just see the airport, you can see the whole world. You can do it. There is very few people in the world who will say, I will inspire you. My story should inspire you. You should achieve something great in life. But there are very few people in the world who would inspire you by not only saying, but only doing with you, sharing the journey with you. The mother of 600 kids, Maria Conceição, she has done that. She is the best woman in the world. How do I explain to you? I'm a kid from the back of the slum in Dhaka. I have never seen people in my life, not foreigners. And now I see all from different nationalities and so many wonderful people. And what happened? Because of her, when now like in my area now, when people used to see foreigners, this is just foreigners to them. Because of Maria, now when you see foreigners, it's hope for us. Because of her, she changed our mentality. She helped us. She's the best one in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Amy?
Hello everyone. I'm so happy to be standing here in front of so many people. My name is Chadni, 16 years old, from Bangladesh. Today I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Maria, our mom. I would have been married and be a mother of honor to kids like my mother and grandmother. But I am here today going to school, and in future I will be a doctor. It all happened for her. And today my sister is in university in Europe, who is coming soon for an internship in Chanel. And my mother is here, and my sister is here. For me and for all of us, she is a fighter who fought for last 18 years to bring us this far in life, and we will make her proud and all of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Love you, Mom.
Hello everyone, I am Shoykot. So my journey with Maria starts in 2006. And at that moment, she was like an alien to us. Alien means why? It's because of her skin tone and the language that she speaks. We don't understand anything what she was saying. So that's why we were thinking that she was an alien who just fell from a sky. And that alien is now an angel to us.
Thank you.
That alien from 2006 till now has made a slum boy into a smart boy who is in front of you right now, like all of us. She is like a Cristiano Ronaldo to all of us. It's because all the hard work that she has done for us and still doing. She is doing it for 24/7, never resting on any holidays. We see her every day working just for us to have us a better future. So let me give you a good news. Is that I'll be joining Grant Thornton soon, which is one of the leading financial company in the world. And this all is possible because of her. She is our mom. She is like doing all the things, and she also have 600 more kids, and who are really waiting for her. And she is definitely the best mother in the world.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you guys. And I think you guys may not even know it, but this was the biggest standing ovation that any speaker got today. And I think all of you over here are doing an incredible act of service by inspiring everyone else in this room. I was telling the kids, the goal is not just to help Maria raise more money for kids or whatever. That's not the goal. The goal is to create more Marias. The goal is to inspire you guys in some way to just think a little bit beyond goals, visions, accomplishments that might simply benefit you, but to ascend to level 4. What can you do to create a greater impact on the world? And I think one of the greatest lessons I got from Ria's thing is that the universe will bless you. If you're thinking beyond just yourself, things will happen. I really believe in that idea. Even Jose Silva, who's one of the top teachers in Mindvalley, said he found that people manifest better when other people are benefiting. And I think one of the reasons why Maria could become the 9-time Guinness record holder that she is because she was never doing it for the Guinness record. She was doing it for these beautiful faces that you see here. Please give them all a round of applause. Thank you, guys.